Hey, it's me, and welcome to this episode of Ask Klayton. This is where you get to ask me questions, and I get to answer them. So before I actually get into your questions, and there are a lot of good ones, why don't I give you some updates on what's going on in my world. Let's talk about Circle of Dust. For those of you following Circle of Dust, you know that I have bought back the first 5 albums that I've ever made with my project Circle of Dust, and I have been re-releasing them, remastering them, tons of bonus content, etc. And the very last one of these, which is my album Disengage, which was the last album I ever did as Circle of Dust, is coming out and will be available to you on October 14th. It's available for pre-order right now, and it's right here in my hands. And it could be in your hands really soon. Go to fixstore.com right now, pre-order it, or you can wait for Spotify, iTunes, etc. Let's talk about my hardware software company, Refractor Audio. I've got a guitar and bass sample pack and a modular sample pack out right now. There's a lot more coming, in addition to my instrument transport, which is also available right now, with over 2,000 loops, and you can mash them up and do all kinds of crazy stuff. But just this week, history was made here at Refractor headquarters because the first prototype of my very first Eurorack hardware module was made and actually live and active in the studio. So we are into the phase of actually developing the hardware side of things, and you'll have some updates on that as soon as they have them for you. The great team at Vintage King stopped by my studio a few months ago and filmed a whole Q&A with me just about how I got started in music, how I started producing, what gear I love, etc. It's called Make Your Mark, and you can go watch that on their site right now. By now, most of you know that I am scoring Season 3 of Microsoft's Killer Instinct video game along with Atlas Plug, aka Tom Salta. And some of the news that you guys have been asking and waiting for a long time is officially out. The soundtrack, the score, the album that you can actually listen to in your car while you're kicking someone else's ass online, whatever else you're doing, will be available on October 25th everywhere. Put that on your calendar, listen, destroy. I was just out in Las Vegas with my friend Chris Angel and was part of his charity event, Help, Heal Every Life Possible. He put this charity in place to raise awareness and money for pediatric cancer research. The sad reality is there are many children who are suffering from cancer. A lot of celebrities came together for this event to raise awareness for these kids, and I'm going to do a separate video relating more specifically to this event so you guys can get all the information and see some of the highlights. I, along with some other great fix artists, have lent our sound to the soundtrack for a new book coming out, Cyberworld. There are a lot of short stories in this book from some great authors about our future, cyberspace, transhumanism, and the list goes on and on. I recommend you pick it up as soon as it's available. I'll be out in Denver with Hex Publishers who are publishing the book, and you can meet and greet and we can hang out. So if you're in town, see you there. So the biggest and most immediate news from my world is a brand new full-length Scandroid record. I had a lot of fun making the album, like a lot of fun. And I can't wait for you to finally hear it. So most of your questions were gleaned regarding Scandroid, so I can kind of address them in light of the imminent release of the self-titled Scandroid album. Why don't we jump into your questions right now? Joseph, that was a really tough question for me to answer for myself, because if I had my way, I would just give you guys a seamless album of things that just kind of flow, so you can put on one album and take a journey. The unfortunate reality is that the current listening landscape really has nothing to do with that anymore. Most people are a la carting their tracks, and they're listening to mixes, and when you tie songs together like that, it makes it kind of disruptive when you're pulling them out of context. So for the Scandroid record, I did not tie the songs together, but the album flows really well, and I don't think you're going to be really sad about that.
Hi Klayton, I'm River, and I have 2 questions for you. The first one is that in previous videos you have said that you will not tour as Circle of Dust, but I was wondering if you would perform some Circle of Dust songs when touring as like Celldweller or Scandroid.
Hey River, I recognize you, and I do have to say you have some incredible fashion sense. So to answer your question, and to clarify, I don't ever plan on touring as either Circle of Dust or Scandroid. However, if I ever tour as Celldweller, we'll see how it goes, but my plan right now is that I will incorporate Circle of Dust and Scandroid into the Celldweller show. So if you are coming to see a Celldweller show, you're probably going to get a cross-section of everything I'm doing, which I don't know if that's exciting for you guys, but it's kind of exciting for me because it kind of breaks up the monotony and allows me to wear different masks and become different people all in one night. Pretty exciting.
My second question is this. You have in the past, as both Circle of Dust and I think it was either Argyle Park or Celldweller, but you have done covers of Steve Taylor songs. And my question is, would you do more covers in the future, and what do you think of his latest album, Goliath? Thanks.
As far as question number 2, the label that I was signed to had the connection with Steve Taylor, so they basically approached me and said, would you like to cover a couple of his songs? And I did. So at the time, that was great. I got to meet him at a showcase, and a bunch of artists had performed covers that they had done of his songs, but I have not really kept up on any new music, so I actually couldn't really answer that. I would probably not really cover any songs of his at this point because I've already done some, but there are a lot of other songs from a lot of other artists that I'd like to cover at some point in my future. In fact, I actually just finished one for the brand new Scandroid record. It's a Tears for Fears cover of Shout, and I can't wait for you to hear it. Greetings, Leonardo from Italy. This has actually been answered in a short story by Brenton Nichols that was online for a while. It may still be up somewhere, I'm not sure. But Red and the now deceased Raven discovered an actual Scandroid, dead in the streets essentially, cast down from New York, Tokyo, and Red disassembled it and basically put the symbol that was on the actual Scandroid on top of his staff to represent kind of the police state, kind of the government, the overlords, the rulers, as almost a sign of rebellion. So yes, Scandroid was kind of named after an actual Scandroid, which is kind of a bad thing, but I mean, they're robots, they're programmed, so I mean, I don't know if they really understand what good or bad is. They just do what they're programmed to do. So that's kind of the story. You should check out the rest of the short story if you can find it online. In fact, while I'm thinking of it, why don't we just host it here and put a link in the info below so you guys can download the PDF and read the story for yourselves. Enjoy.
Hello Klayton, it's Chris from Greece and London. I'd like to ask you, who was the first person who helped you sing your first track in a blockbuster movie, and how you felt, and for how many years did you dreamt and working towards this? Cheers, thank you.
So Chris, my manager at the time, Tyler, who owns Position Music, was also getting into licensing music for film, television, and video games. So when I started making music, it wasn't to get in film, it was really because I wanted to make music and my passion was for the sounds that I heard in my head. It just so happened that they worked really well for film, TV, and video games, and that allowed him to start getting them into those places. So I'm not really a sentimental guy, so I don't sit around reminiscing and getting excited about being in big, Hollywood movies and things like that. I'm very thankful for those opportunities, but I'm always looking towards the future and kind of what can I be doing next. So hopefully there's a lot more of that to come, and thanks for that question. I'm glad to say, Leroy, that the answer is unequivocally yes. There is a theme, storyline that runs throughout, and you'll see certain themes running through multiple songs that kind of tie everything together. So I can't wait for you guys to hear the whole album and take the journey with me and Red and Adam and Eve and Aphelion. You get the picture. Well, Emmanuel, the answer is pretty simple. I absolutely love the song Shout. I loved, in fact, Songs from the Big Chair, the entire Tears for Fears album that came off of. So when it came time for me to think about actually doing a genuine 80s cover, I had a bunch of songs I really wanted to do, but I narrowed it down to Shout because I felt like I could do the best job with that. I had actually covered this song in the 90s with just me and an acoustic guitar. I hope to God that nobody has that footage anywhere and that no one ever sees it. Although I do have it, and maybe someday I'll post it, but no promises. So thank you for sticking all the way through episode 38 of Ask Klayton. I hope this answers a lot of your questions regarding Scandroid and a few other things, and that you learned something new. As always, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because there's a lot more content coming. Like or share this video, and I want to hear your questions, so you can do that one of two ways. You can post them in the comments below, you can hashtag Ask Klayton in your social media platform of choice, or film your pretty face asking your question and hit this link in the moon to submit it. And until next episode, this is Klayton, aka Celldweller, Scandroid, Circle of Dust, etc., signing off.